Hi everyone. So today we're talking about training tools. A lot of these have to do with having them on a leash and what we use while walking them. The most primal activity we do with them is walking them, so it's very important that they understand that this is a structured activity where you're in control. It's also for everybody's safety that they are not pulling and that they're under control when you're on a walk. So the most basic tool that we have is the flat collar, which just has a buckle and a loop to attach their leash. Of course, this doesn't send them any message of correction when you correct with the leash and give them a little snap. It doesn't really do too much for them. So if you really need a tool that's going to help get a message through to gain control of your dog, then we have a variety of items here. So there's this one, the Martingale, which has the chain part and the flat collar part. Some of them have this as nylon, which is fine. There's a little bit of a benefit to having it be chain because they get the audible correction also when you give a snap of the leash. Then they hear the sound and they also feel pressure on all angles of their neck. So it's always really important that your tool around their neck is up high. This is the part that's more sensitive. It's not because it's causing harm, but simply because when the collar falls low and there's just pressure here on his chest or low neck, okay, come sit up. Then it's simply not sending him a message. They're way too strong and it's not a pressure point. So this is where it should be. The main pressure point that they feel the message from is right behind the ears. So that's where they feel it. You're also not as able to do the damage here. Down here is their trachea, which is where it's been known that dogs can get injured down there, and especially tiny dogs that are very sensitive. Sit. So this here, if you look, when I pull, these rings come too close. So this tells you that it's a little too big. So I can tighten the band on this one, or you can move to a smaller size. You want it to be, when you tug, to still have space there. That way when you release, then it's not quite so loose. As you can see, sit. I'm able to send him a message by giving a quick snap, and the idea is that you always want the slack in the leash. So this is one example. There's also the choke chains, which is another possibility. And then for some dogs who really need a little bit stronger of a message being sent to them, then we have the prong collar. This does not create any kind of pain for them at all. What's really good about the prong collars, so they just come apart. You can add or take links off as needed. So I'll adjust it. Again, high on the neck. This one's nice and snug, so it won't fall as easily. A lot of dogs, especially big power breeds, have so much muscle in their neck that you really need something to break through and get the message across. The idea of this is not to cause any kind of pain, but simply a little bit of discomfort to get the message through. This is a safety concern as far as everybody goes, for the family, for other people on the street. If your dog sees a squirrel and they have a high prey drive, you need to be able to control them. This is very important. There's some people that avoid walking their dogs because they can't control them. What would be better is something like this, and just all you need, there's so much little pressure needed because of this tool, so it really can work well for a lot of dogs and owners. You'll see the leash we have here. This is one of our favorite leashes, also because we enjoy doing what's called umbilical training, which is just tying the dog around your waist and going on throughout your day with chores and everything that you want to do while keeping them close by and being able to control their energy and movements. So these are great for walks. Obviously a normal 6-foot nylon leash is good. We also have, and many stores do, these are called traffic leads. These are fantastic, really good and easy to grip, and it keeps them very close by, which is also very safe. So there's other tools available on the market also. There's halties, which work kind of the way a harness on a horse works, which directs their head and pulls them back. It doesn't send the same message to their neck, but it can be a very good way to control a big dog. There's also no pull harnesses, and I know a lot of harnesses have to be used on super tiny dogs because they can be very, very delicate around their trachea and neck region. Of course, it's what's suitable to your dog, so you have to know the needs of your dog, how to correct them, and what works best with them. So sometimes it's good to try out a variety and also seek out ideas for owners that have similar types of breeds or energy levels of your dog and what works best for them. But it's best to keep an open mind because all tools can be used to their benefit and also, of course, improperly. So another tool that we use around here a lot, and I know a lot of dog facilities that have them, is just a slip lead. So this one, you loop it through itself, and this one actually wonderfully has a little blocker. So I just slip it over. It's very light, so it doesn't have a tendency to fall as much, and then I tighten this little, and they're super fantastic. So we often get dogs here who have either not been trained on a leash or can get very easily excited around other dogs and don't have the greatest leash manners, or maybe just farm dogs who haven't had leash experience yet. And I can pretty much always, with something so simple, we can pretty much always get the message through to them very safe and fast, and have control over them around a group of dogs. So something so simple really does help get the message through to them very fast that you have control over them. So we also use here e-collars for helping to train dogs and socialize. So we use the Sport Dog brand. There's a ton of brands on the market. We supply and retail these as well. So the way it works is you can program it for the beeping, a vibrate, and then there's 7 levels of sensation that you can send to them. We like to train our dogs here to listen to the beep. So the beep reinforces our command. We sound the beep when we're giving them a command, whether that's come or leave it if they have a stick. And when they don't obey that first command, then we send them a sensation. The first sensation normally makes them act like there's a bug in their ear. Like they go like this, they kind of shake it, they don't quite know. But for the most part, that's all we need from them, is to be distracted from what they were doing. Because we have a large group of dogs loose all at once, it's very important that we can grab their attention and distract them from what they're doing. Another really common issue around big groups of dogs like we have here is just mounting each other, which is them just testing their hierarchy and their stance in the group. So once we send them a sensation and get them a little unsure of what's going on around them, then we beep and praise them and call them to us. So what ends up happening through this process of training and doing this over and over again is we send them a beep and call their name, and right away their ears go back, they become submissive, and they come over to us for affection and praise. And that's what we give to them, and then they can return to playing. And in the meantime, we've avoided something that could have become a possible scenario. Because of course, we can't have them mounting other dogs. They also pick up sticks sometimes. We never throw toys or play with them, but they pick up sticks sometimes and we'll play tug of war. That can get carried away very, very easily and become something that it shouldn't. So beeping them and having them to release the stick and walk away from it is what we need to be able to accomplish. We've trained many, many dogs on these, and now the owners use them at home, whether it's for reinforcing recall up the cottage or at a park, or just training even for helping on leash walks for reactivity or other things. It's a way to achieve a calm, submissive state of mind with them when they know how to respond to it, when they understand it. So I'm going to show you how to put it on. There's actually one, I could change the adjustment. There's one with slightly longer prongs, which works good for thicker coated dogs like him, but this should be fine. He's trained well on it, and basically all we use is the beep anyway. So we'll put it on. You want it to be close to his ear, so when he gets playing and running in the wind, he hears the beep, because that's an important part. If it's too loose, then the unit comes around to his neck, and then he's not as likely, when the wind is going or he's intense in a moment, he's not as likely to hear it. So you want it to be tight enough that it'll stay there and it's snug, but also, of course, not so tight so that I can still stick my fingers between the prongs and his skin. So another one of the greatest tools for training is the crate. So if Some people don't use a crate. If you use something like a small room at home, a laundry room or bathroom where you have their stuff to keep them, but they should always have a small area to themselves. So I just wanted to show the importance of, come on inside. During this time when a lot of us are home, lay down. A lot of us are spending a lot more time at home. I think our dogs may be getting a little more needy. So it's always good to practice their time where they are off on their own and they remember that this is also a part of their life, because when everybody goes back to work, they will have to be coping with this again. So they can spend time in there. Often if they're laying around the house, it doesn't make much difference if they're in the crate or not, but at least this is a boundary that you've put in place, and so that's always good to try and exercise also. Now the important part was I'm going to show you when you're letting him out. A really good thing, no, is that you maintain, lie down, control over the exit and releasing him out. So whether you make him stay and wait, it's also a good practice throughout the day to put him in there and leave the door open and make them stay in that place. But that you make him wait. If he tries to get out, there I've shown him, I corrected my finger a lot to snap it, but I've also shown that quick correction in my voice. Hey! It kind of, he knows he's doing something. So you can use something like that, but also just to shut the door again and let them know to back up. So if you want to use that, you can always do that at the same time as your voice correction. It's whatever works best for you and your dog. The idea is you want to achieve this for a moment. And if you find when he comes out, maybe he's really, really overexcited, then it's a wonderful reason to take him out on his leash and just wait until you feel he's achieved a calm state of mind, and that's when he'll gain his freedom. So I could walk him around like this, especially with the umbilical leash. I could walk him around like this for the next hour if I wanted. But I'd rather not release him and give him freedom when he's in this antsy state, which he is. Especially because he keeps experiencing the leash, so he thinks he's going for a walk. Lastly, the most important thing is that you're using a tool and method that you are comfortable with and that you think is best suitable for your dog. There's a million different training philosophies out there and ideas and techniques for using with different situations and different dogs. You know your dog best and you know what's best for them. So you need something that can help create this calm, submissive state of mind and to give you better control so that you in turn can give them a better life and more freedom.